Today we're going to learn about point slope form. You will have guided notes in Schoology that you will submit at the end of this lesson. So as I go through and scribe on these slides, you will do the same. You'll type into your slides and then you'll submit through Schoology. All right, point slope form. What is it? Y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. So this is just another form. If you remember from last lesson, we learned about this form. M was my slope, and B was my y-intercept. So because we could see our slope and we could see our intercept, we called this slope-intercept form. Okay? Today we're going to be talking about point-slope form. So if you could take a guess what two pieces you're going to see in the equation, you'll probably be correct. So we've got three arrows with boxes. I think you guys could probably guess what the M is. So M is still slope. And then x1 and y1, it is the x-coordinate of a point. And y1 is the corresponding y-coordinate. So you need two things to write an equation in point-slope form. The first thing you need is the slope, or the point, and the second thing you need is the other. So in this case, point. I probably should have written them differently, but point-slope form. Point, you need a point and you need a slope. All right, on your slides, you're going to have a point that you can virtually move onto the graph. I'm scribing, so I don't have that. You'll just have to do it on your own. So we're going to identify a point on the line, any point. I want to take this line, and I want to write an equation in point-slope form. So I need to find a point, and I need to find the slope. Well, there are infinitely many points I can choose from. I don't want to make my life harder, so I'm going to find one that looks really easy. 1, 5. That looks like it's definitely on my line. So the x-coordinate is 1, the y-coordinate is 5. So 1, 5 is what I'm working with. So I have found half of the information I need to write an equation in point-slope form. The other half will be the slope. So if you remember rise over run, I need to find a second point. Doesn't matter where it is. So let's go with 0, 2. And then I'm going to calculate how much did I rise and how much did I run. And that will be my slope. So looks like I rose 3 and I ran 1. So my slope, 3 over 1. Now we're going to create the equation. I've found everything I need. I found a point and I found a slope. So y minus your y-coordinate. How I know which one goes there? The y-coordinate goes with the y and the x-coordinate goes with the x. So y minus my y-coordinate. My y-coordinate is 5 equals my slope goes next. So in this case, it's 3 over 1, or you could just write 3. Times the quantity x minus my x-coordinate, in this case 1. So my x-coordinate goes with the x, my y-coordinate goes with the y, and then slope is always on the outside of the parentheses. So let's make this look a little nicer. Y minus 5 equals 3 times the quantity x minus 1. Take a look and see if you notice anything about your ordered pair in relation to the final answer. Something I notice is that when my x-coordinate is 1, I notice in my equation, the number in there is a -1. When my y-coordinate is 5, I see that I've got a -5 in my equation. Okay? We'll go more in depth on that in a second. So now let's have you try it. Pause this video, and then once you're done, press play, and I will be doing this with you as well. Okay. So identify a point on the line. Pick one. Let's go with -2, -4. So my x-coordinate is -2. My y-coordinate is -4. Now we need to identify the slope. Find another point. Let's go with this one. -4, -3. And then let's calculate rise over run. Go from left to right. So if I start with this point, I need to go down and over. Since I went down, it's a -1, and then always going to the right is positive. Looks like I went over 2. So my slope, m, would be -1 over 2. All right, I have enough information to write the equation of my line now in point slope form. Y minus my y coordinate, -4, equals slope times the x minus my x coordinate. My x coordinate is -2. Let's make that look a little prettier because I think a lot of you notice that we are subtracting a negative and we don't really like that. That doesn't look very neat. So let's rewrite y minus a -4. When you subtract a negative, it's the same as adding a positive. So +4 equals -1/2 times the quantity. X minus a -2 is the same as x plus a +2. So this will be my final answer. Take note again. Look at my original numbers. My x coordinate was -2. Look in your equation. It's a +2. My y coordinate was a -4. Oh gosh. This highlighting pen is crazy. And now look, and it is a +4. Notice that they're opposites. All right, last one. If you did not pause before, definitely pause now. Try this one all on your own and then press play when you're ready to go. All right, so step 1, find a point, any point. Let's go with -6, 1. It's the first one I saw. X coordinate is -6, y coordinate is 1. Identify the slope. Let's find another point. How about right here? It looks like I go up and over, so I went up 1 over 3. So the slope of this line is 1/3. Let's piece it all together, put it in the final equation. Y minus my y coordinate, which is 1, equals my slope, which is 1/3, times x minus my x coordinate, which is -6. Let's rewrite that because there's one thing that we need to change. Y minus 1, which that is an equal sign, let's not do that, equals 1/3 times x, not minus a -6. When you subtract a negative, it's like adding a positive, plus 6. That is my final answer. So let's one last time make that connection. This time I'm not going to use the highlighter because it doesn't work. When my x coordinate is -6, notice in my equation, it's a +6. When my y coordinate is a +1, notice in my equation, it is a -1. So if you want to make a little note, you can add your own text box in your Google slide. But you can say we use the opposite sign of the points or of each coordinate when plugging in. Into equation.